Jim Jordan is with us. Congressman, welcome to the program.
Good to be with you, Grant.
All right, I want to ask you first off, a lot of spending coming out of Congress. It's what Congress does, just throw money at a problem. How concerned are you that the money is going to be used properly?
Well, I mean, it's the federal government. When do we ever spend the money properly? We had $1.6 trillion in that whole package last week. It's the reason I voted against. There was nothing in that overall package, by the way, that was going to help with the problem on the border, that was going to actually help with inflation, that was going to help with the crime problem that Democrats have created with their whole defund the police movement around the country, and nothing in that bill that was going to help with our energy, energy situation that we now see with $5 gasoline in some states already. So that was the biggest problem there. But how about Nancy Pelosi saying that the president has been masterful? I mean, you played that. I mean, I was like you. I mean, what is she talking about? So think about this, Grant. President Biden inherited a, relatively speaking, calm and stable world. And in 14 months, he has given us nothing but chaos. I mean, remember those images from last summer where Afghan refugees are trying to jump on the wheels of that plane as it's taking off. Look at the situation in Ukraine. I think largely, obviously, Putin is the main problem here, but I think driven because of the weakness projected from the White House. And then, of course, domestically, it's been chaos on the border, chaos with inflation, 40-year high, chaos with crime in our urban areas, and a chaotic situation with our energy policy. So the idea that he's been masterful in his decisions is just doesn't make sense.
So if he's so masterful, I don't think that Vladimir Putin would come out with this soundbite. I know he would not have used terms like cleansing with President Trump in office. So I want you to listen to the soundbite from Vladimir Putin. It's frightening to the bone. Listen to this.
But any people, and even more so the Russian people, will always be able to distinguish true patriots from scum and traitors, and simply spit them out like a fly that accidentally flew into the mouth. Spit them out. I'm convinced that such a natural and necessary cleansing of society will only strengthen our country.
Wow.
Jim Jordan, that is like Hitler talk right there.
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, this guy's a bad guy. He's the guy who's caused this tragic and terrible situation. God bless President Zelensky and the Ukrainian people and their courageous stand. Yeah, that would not. I like the way former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said it. He said he was asked, would this have happened if President Trump were in the White House? And Secretary Pompeo said, well, the short answer is I don't know. But I do know this. It didn't happen when President Trump was in the White House. That says it all. That is the key, because President Trump was willing to engage with bad guys, but he was also willing to tell them, you mess with us, there's going to be real consequences. And it didn't happen. And now we see, again, just the opposite with this administration.
Hey, Congressman, let me ask you a tough question, because I get this. My heart aches for the people of Ukraine. I'm watching maternity hospitals be bombed, this theater where there were kids in it. I want to give them the help, all the help possible. But I'm really not at a point where I want to risk American lives in helping them over there. Not yet, anyway. I don't want to go to war with Russia. How do you weigh everything going on? And there's a lot in Washington, a lot of people in Washington that loves the idea of war, and this really goes back decades in Washington.
Yeah, no, we got to be real careful. Look, we want to be helpful. We're doing that with sanctions, with aid, with weapon systems that, again, President Trump gave them the Javelin systems that have been so helpful. So we want to continue to do that. I think everyone understands that makes sense, but we got to be real careful about this talk of no-fly zones and some of the other talk we've heard from some of my colleagues. So I think that's just good, smart diplomacy. This is a serious situation. We understand it, but let's step back and make sure that we're real careful in any and all decisions that we make regarding this situation with Ukraine.
All right. Well, Congressman Jim Jordan, I appreciate you coming on tonight. As always, good to see you. I know you're busy. Thank you for sharing some time with us.
Thank you, Grant. Take care.
You got it.